So Americans don't want to live in America anymore. Let's talk about it. I think it's a very normal feeling right now that people don't want to live here. I mean, the idea of the American dream is just gone, and everyone in my comment section says the American dream now is to leave America, and that seems to be a resounding sentiment all throughout the internet right now. People want to go. People want to go somewhere else. This doesn't feel like it's it for us. This doesn't feel like it's good for us. And by us, I mean anybody. If you're not in the top 10, the top 5% of this country feels like it's not a place where you can make it, because for the most part, it isn't a place that you can make it. The working poor and the working class are struggling just to stay off the streets, and there's no respite to come. There's no support from the government. There's no support from our neighbors because we don't know them. Our families are broken, so we have no one to fall back to. It just feels hopeless for a lot of people. So of course, there's a natural feeling that I want to go find my peace, my happy life, wherever I can. And it doesn't feel like we can have that in America for a lot of us. And that's why you're seeing people all over TikTok, all over YouTube say that they're leaving the country. They want to leave the country and just go. You know, they don't care what the destination is, they just want to go. I think that this is actually something that really hits to the core of our American past, to actually, go forth and find your place in the world. And I don't begrudge anybody, nor should you, who is pursuing that kind of peace in their life.
Greetings, my lovely people, and once again, welcome back to my channel. So millions of Americans are packing their bags, not for vacation, but leaving the USA for good in record numbers, in search of peace, survival, and freedom. And they are moving into countries like Mexico, Australia, Costa Rica, or Thailand. So for decades, the American dream was a promise that if you worked hard, you could make it. But now, millions of Americans feel that that dream is dead because rent is skyrocketing, healthcare costs are unaffordable, groceries have become so expensive. I mean, the basics of survival now feels like luxuries, So let's have a look, and if you're new here, please consider subscribing and joining my membership. Let's have a look.
Americans are leaving this country in record numbers. And I'm not talking about vacation. I'm talking packing their bags, booking their flights, and leaving for good. In the first few months of 2025 alone, the amount of people that just said, I'm done, and moved abroad doubled from the year before. That's not just a blip, okay? That's a wave. So why? Same reasons you and I complain about every day. Cost of living going through the roof, political chaos that never seems to end, and the fear of safety even when you're just going to the grocery store. But here's the thing, it's not just dreamers or millionaires doing it. It's normal people. It's people with families. It's young people, old people, retirees, people who are working remote. One common thread holding all of these people together is they just want a dignified life. That's why you're seeing places like Greece, Spain, France, Portugal. Their cafes are filling up with Americans who are just done. People love to scream, if you don't like it, leave. Well, we are, thousands and thousands of us. We will be joining that wave soon. If you're curious about moving abroad, stick around, because we're about to embark on this journey ourselves, and we can't wait. At the end of the day, people like us just want to make life work. And if we think that we can do that better outside of this country, then who's to say we can't?
Americans are finding peace in other countries. Why is it that we are learning to really love on ourselves? We are really learning what it feels like to have peace, to have freedom, to really unconditionally show ourselves the self-love that we deserve. Why is it that we have to leave and go outside of America to have access to quality health care, to have access to doctors that actually care about our health? Why is it that we have to leave America to actually get healthier? Why is it? Why is it that we can leave America? No one asks us about our credit. Why is it that we have to leave America to feel safe? Why is it? Why is it that so many Americans are thriving outside of the United States. And we don't have that type of thriving activity inside of the United States. Why is it that we have to leave America to have a sense of peace? Why is that? Can anybody answer me that question? Because inquiring minds want to know. Why is it that we can move outside of America and have a better life? Why is it that we can move outside of America and have the peace that surpasses even our own understanding? Why is that? Why is it that we can leave America and have true freedom and be seen for who we are? Why is it that when we move outside of America, we can be our true, authentic self? We can slow down and really enjoy life, eat great food that's not filled with all this stuff. Why is it? Why is it that we don't prioritize our mental health, but we can do it so easily outside of the United States? You know, because America is just ghetto as fuck and has been for quite some time.
So many people want to move from United States. I've been getting direct messages every single day. I moved from United States a couple of months ago with my entire family to Eastern Europe, Northern Europe. And here's the 5 top reasons why we left the United States. Number 1, access to good food, healthy, organic food at half the price. In the United States, there's many foods that you have that are actually banned in Europe. Second, healthcare. It's 3 times cheaper to get healthcare here. You can get a full panel of blood work for 100 euros. A professional private clinic is 50 euros per visit, a private one. And you can actually get one for probably for 10 or even free if you get in line. Third, childcare. It's absolutely unreasonable for mothers to bear children, give birth to children, and then get taxed at 50% of their income to pay for daycare. Daycare should be free. Hence, it's literally almost free in Europe. You get almost a year maternity leave. In the United States, you get 0 maternity leave. So the entire industry of childcare is like a business in the United States rather than a human right. Socially, people are way less divided than they are in the United States. In the United States, the moment you're red or blue, you just got to read the room, which room you walk in. Otherwise, you get attacked and all the other things. Last but not least, the politics. The politics in the United States shows us that trajectory for the next 10 years is not up. It's actually a slow degrade for the last 10 years. And it's not hard to do the math and look, the next 10 years is going to be even lower.
My husband and I were sitting on the porch this morning and we were just discussing the culture in the United States and how there's always this undercurrent of like violence and hostility. And it's everywhere all the time. And you feel very vulnerable to it. And sometimes you don't really even know you're feeling it, but it's there. And I asked him, when you go to a movie theater, do you assess who's in the room and who might be a threat and who might be hiding something in their coat and like what you would do if they just like stood up and started shooting? Like, how are you going to get out of the room? How are you going to keep our boys safe? And he's like, yeah, I do. And I said, I do too. We never talked about that openly. And we both agreed, like, we do it all the time. We're at the grocery store, at a concert, at church, at our kids' school. What if who among these people is a threat? And what would we do if they stood up and started to do something? How would we get out of here? How would we protect our kids and ourselves? That is always in our minds. And I don't think we realize the mental toll and the physical toll that takes on us to always be doing those mental calculations. And then not only that, but the culture in the US is such that you're always feeling like someone is trying to get one over on you or like use you somehow. There's always this sense of like you're competing. You're not helping each other. You're not supporting each other. You're competing with each other. And that person is he's your enemy. He's your neighbor, but he's also your enemy. Like you try to make sure that he doesn't mow on your side of the lawn too much because that's yours. That's your property. He's trying to take it from you. There's this sense of like, it's real like selfishness and self-centeredness and gotta get mine and keep mine and not let anyone else take mine. And, I'm really looking forward not to feel that all the time. I don't think we realize that we're feeling it. We're not conscious of it all the time, but I really want to not feel it, you know? And I want to raise my sons not to think that way or have those sort of feelings or have to do those calculations in their head about like, how am I going to get out of this without getting shot? That's what I want. So that's why I am taking my two sons, who are 7 and 9, and my husband and myself to the other side of the world to get away from this place.
A 102% spike in Americans leaving the U.S. in the first quarter of 2025 alone. Are we surprised by these numbers? I'll tell you why people are leaving. Number one, healthcare costs, especially for retirees, the cost of living, the political climate, and people just want better opportunities. And some have said even the job market alone, and they feel like they have enough savings or they have a business where they feel like they can explore in other countries. I know this is not for everybody, but if you had the opportunity, would you do so? Now, here are the common places that people are going: Portugal, Spain, Panama, Italy, and Greece. A lot of these places, they do offer golden visas. That's mainly for retirees and people who actually have the funds, I'm gonna be honest. But even if you're not wealthy, you still have opportunities. I tell people, do the research. Don't just go to where everybody's going. The world is so big. You can find something that you like and you didn't even expect it. And there's a lot of other digital nomad visa countries out there that just opened up. There's even some coming at the end of 2025 as well.
Americans leaving America to live the American dream. Are we Americans living the American dream? I see that a lot of people are leaving and going to different countries because they feel like the struggle is so bad in America. They indeed feel that we do have a lot of opportunities for education and stuff, but once we make a certain amount of money, it's like you're still only working to pay bills. Like everything is so expensive, from the cable to the internet, the cars, where you live. And they feel like you can go to Thailand, Belize, all those different places and live a simple life. So what's going on in America? Like, how are things so inexpensive in other countries? The rent is so high here, when they like the rent in those different countries are little as nothing. So y'all tell me, what's going on? How can things be so much different in price? Are we Americans living the American dream? And if not, why not? Like, what we need to do?
So, yes, the amount of people saying they're ready to leave the U.S. is insane. Look, I've been abroad with my family since 2016. It was like really pulling teeth trying to get people to move out of the country, right? Fast forward almost 10 years later, it's like everybody and their grandmother is saying, I want to go, I want to go, I want to go. So let me just give y'all some advice. Don't romanticize about leaving the country. A large number of people that are leaving, they are actually going back, okay, to the U.S. The other thing is, do your research. Try to go visit some of these places, because someone may be showing you one part of a country, but not every single aspect of the country. And in order for you to really understand what's going on in those countries and the nuances in regards to going to school, going to the grocery store, flushing the toilets, okay, getting a driver's license, going to the, standing on the bus stop, like all of these little nuances you may not get watching someone's, social media videos, right? The number one thing I tell people is that if you are looking to move abroad, only leave if you have a great opportunity, or if you have a business situation, or retired, or whatever the case may be. Don't just pack up and leave. Because of this, you may end up running right into the same issues that you had before that you were trying to leave in the first place. The last thing is going to be everybody that's saying that they want to go can't actually go and will not go. So it's going to be a lot of this going on. But unless they have the resources, the money, the this, that, and the other, most of it is just this. It's just lip service. Okay, so unless you see somebody packing up their whole house and yada, 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 which I do not suggest you do that. Because if you don't like it and you ain't got nothing to go back to, that's on you. Okay. But to be quite honest, everybody that's bumping them gums, they are not leaving the U.S.
So people are working 2 or even 3 jobs just to survive another month. The middle class are being crushed under the weight of inflation, taxes, and corporate greed. So many Americans are realizing that in the richest country on earth, survival have become a nightmare. The rent crisis has forced millions to start sleeping in cars, The cost of groceries has reached to the point where families are even skipping meals, and healthcare, once a human right in most developed nations, is now a luxury service controlled by billion-dollar corporations and insurance companies that profit from pain. Teachers, nurses, factory workers are now barely hanging on, They are exhausted, underpaid, and drowning in debt. Let's talk about student loans. They have chained millions of young Americans even before they begin their adult life, So many say they have lost faith in a system that designed not to help them, but to keep them working, consuming, and barely surviving. So they are living because they just want a simple life, affordable housing, health, and affordable food, and the freedom to exist without drowning in bills. So, the mass exodus is not just a movement of people. It is a message to the American establishment that something is deeply broken. When your citizens are fleeing your borders for basic survival, it's no longer about politics, but it is about humanity. America is truly collapsing. The economy may look strong on paper, but the reality is that millions of Americans are surviving paycheck to paycheck. You are just one emergency away from homelessness. The land of free has become the land of anxiety. So the question is, what happens next? Will the government finally listen to the cries of the people, or will America continue down a path where only the rich can survive, while everybody else struggles to survive? So as Americans leave their homeland in search of a better life abroad, they are not betraying their country. They are reclaiming their humanity and redefining a dream of living with dignity. Thank you so much for tuning in. Be sure to like, subscribe, and share. Have a good one. I'll see you in the next video.